All right, Shabbat Shalom, brothers and sisters. As always, we like to first and foremost give all praises to the Most AHAYAH, by Yashaya, RaWach, and thanking him for rising us up and blessing us with another beautiful Shabbat. Today's lesson is we're gonna be going over scriptures dealing with brotherly love and also righteous judgment. And that's one of the main things missing amongst the Hebrew Israelite community, and that's something that we cannot stress enough, is to love your brother as yourself. It doesn't matter how much knowledge of the scriptures you have. It doesn't matter what position or seat you might have amongst the community. If you can't love your brother, then you really need to do some self-examining, because Yashaya said that we only have one master and the rest of us are all brethren. And we understand we must have order amongst the community, but just because you are placed in a position doesn't mean that you neglect the fact that we are all brethren, and you're still going to get the same penny as that babe in the word over there that came into this truth in the 11th hour. So with that being said, brother Mala'ak, and this is my brother Tony right here. We're from the Children of Ohio's Promised Church. We're going to put our disclaimer out there. We teach according to St. Matthew chapter 28 and verse 19. We will teach all nations. We won't exclude anybody. And with that being said, we also will not separate the goat from the sheep or the tares from the wheat. That is for Yashaya to do when he comes back and he sets order. So we're not going to turn anybody away based on their skin color, because we know one of the curses placed upon us is confusion of faces, and we have been scattered among the nations across the four corners of the earth. So with that being said, we're going to get into it. The title of this lesson is Brotherly Love and Righteous Judgment. So we're going to start off in St. Matthew chapter 22 and verse 35. And also real quick, like to give a shout out to my brother Kuhal. He put half of these precepts together, dealing with righteous judgment, and I combined these two topics together. So the water to that brother for putting that portion of this lesson together. So with that, we're going to St. Matthew chapter 22 and verse 35.
Matthew 22 and 35. Then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him, and saying, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Yashaya said unto him, Thou shalt love thou shalt love the Most High thy power with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment.
Number one, you fully submit to the Most High, from how you think to how you speak to how you act. Everything you do is now unto the Most High. Go ahead up.
39. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Keep going. Yeah.
On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets.
So now we understand and we know just these two simple commandments. Very easy. Hang all the prophets in the law. And if you're familiar with this story, this same lawyer asked him, well, who is my neighbor? And he gave him the parable of the stranger that sojourned through the land. The Levite walked past him. The priest walked past him. But the Samaritan picked him up, put him on his beast, took him to the inn, bound up his wounds, and took care of him. And then he asked, which one was your neighbor? He said, that's Samaritan. He said, go and do the same. So we understand, we know who our neighbor is, and we know who our brothers and sisters are when Yashaya said, he that do the will of my Father. So these are your brothers and these are your sisters. So once again, the emphasis of this lesson is brotherly love, and also we're going to be touching on righteous judgment. So with that, we're going to 1 John chapter 4 and verse 20. And this is a scripture we're all familiar with. We should all know this. And, it does not hurt to be reminded. We definitely need to continue to remind ourselves, because as we continue in this walk, as we grow in knowledge and we deal with our brothers, sometimes this slips from the mind. Sometimes people get emotional. They say things that they have to ask for forgiveness for and take back, or they're too prideful that they can't even do that. So once again, we're going to 1 John chapter 4 and verse 20.
1 John chapter 4 verse 20. If a man say, I love AHAYAH, and hateth his brother, he is a liar.
You are a liar. Period. All these Hebrew Israelites out here saying they love the Most High, but they hate their brother because they're from another camp. They hate their brother for any reason. You are a liar, and you are not doing the work of the Most High. You might think you are, but you're not, because you don't have any love for your brother. You are a liar. Go ahead, out.
For he that loveth not his brother whom he has seen, how can he love the Most High whom he hath not seen?
Crystal clear. You can't love your brother that's made in the image of the Most High, whom you haven't seen. You have never seen the Most High, but your brother made in his image, you have hatred for him. Nah. Go ahead, out.
And this commandment have we from him, that he who loveth the Most High love his brother also.
So you must love your brother as yourself. So with that, we are now going to go to St. Matthew, chapter 23, and verse 8. And once again, we're not going to go in any particular order. We're going to be jumping back and forth in between these two topics of brotherly love and righteous judgment. Just keep in mind, do some self-analyzing and ask yourself, have I been showing love to my brothers and my sisters lately, as Yashaya told me to? Or am I allowing these little incidents, these little things, to cause me to be in my emotions and my feelings? Think about it, because most likely he's going to purge the rebels from among us. And Yashaya, he came to bring that sword. He came to bring division. And, a lot of people, they like to use this thing where brothers are causing division and sowing discord. Remember, Yashaya, he came to bring that righteous division. And sometimes when brothers are bringing out the scriptures and they are focused on Yashaya, brothers are removed from the company of others because they are not putting on Christ. They'll go to Paul's writings and try to justify what they're doing, but Yashaya, he's our high priest. If you can't put on Yashaya, if you can't understand the Gospels, you can't even go to Paul. And you can't use Paul to outdo Christ, period. So with that, we're at St. Matthew chapter 23, and we're going to get verse 8.
Matthew 23 and 8. But be not ye called Rabbi, for one is your master, even Christ, and all ye brethren.
All right, crystal clear. That is the order. You might have a bishop, you might have a deacon, you might have somebody who calls himself an elder, which really isn't a title according to Scripture. You have two offices, bishop and deacon. But we are all brethren. Yashaya is our master. So if I have a problem with a brother that's in a higher position or more esteemed, we are still to deal with each other on a brotherly basis. That title is just a title. It doesn't mean anything if you can't show love to your brothers and deal with them on a brotherly level and not try to look down on them and say, hey, you know what? I don't have to listen to this. Get out of here. I don't care if you're offended. We can't do those things amongst Israel. We can't. It's not like Christ. You got to remember, Yashaya, he sat and broke bread with Judas, knowing what Judas was doing. He showed him love to the end. He didn't stop him. He went on. He betrayed him. He still showed Judas love. So we got to remember that dealing with our brothers, we are not to take any type of action against them. We're not to tail bear against them. We're not to get people to go against them. Just let them be. Like Yashaya said, you know what? Let the tares and the wheat grow together. Because if you try to pull up some of them tares, you might pull up some of the wheat. So with that out, let's get verse 9.
And call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father, which is in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Neither be ye called master, for one is your master, even Christ.
So Yashaya told us this 2 times. Go ahead, out.
But he that is greatest among you shall be your servant.
And that's what we should be looking to do. You want to be great amongst the people? Be the best servant to the people that you can be. Be the best servant to your brother. Serve. That's it. It doesn't say the greatest among you shall be the greatest teacher, shall have the most knowledge. No, that lowly, humble servant. Go ahead, out.
And whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted.
Crystal clear. It don't get any more clear than that. If you are exalting yourself over brethren, the Most High will abase you. And it may not happen immediately, but it will happen. So keep that in mind. Most High, he doesn't like those with a proud look, those trying to exalt themselves over the brothers. Nah. Go ahead, out.
But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in.
And there we have it. You know, you have some brothers who, you know, they act like Pharisees. They tell you, don't speak to this brother. Don't show your brother love anymore. And in fact, what they're doing is they're shutting up the kingdom for you. Because how are you going to let another man dictate who you can speak with? That's not scriptural. You know, unless they're a flat out fornicator, idolater, sorcerer. Other than that, you can still sit and break bread with your brother. It doesn't matter what people are telling you. You know, you have certain steps you must take with your brother if there's an offense. But in the meantime, you don't sit and tell people, you know what, this brother, you know, he's not a good brother no more. Don't talk to him. Don't call him. Don't gather with him. Don't send him no messages, no emails. Cut him off. You can't do that. You can't
You're
do
a
that.
sucker if you listening. It's just like Jim Jones.
Exactly. You know, and this, it comes back to this, man. And it's unfortunate that, of course, we understand the people that, you know, kind of laid the foundation. Although Yashaya, he's the foundation. We had brothers come in and have certain level of knowledge and go into these scriptures and to the point where we can realize who we are according to the prophecies. And all praise to the Most High for that. But as always, men get in position. They have power. They abuse that power. They've been given over to a reprobate mind. So we know that these brothers that have been set up for some time now, they act in a pharisaical manner. That's why Yashaya said, out of the mouth of babes. Because they have that old wine in them still. You know, we have that empty cup, being that next generation coming into this truth. And our children are going to even have more of an empty cup and are going to be able to walk and understand and know Christ better than we have been able to, because they're going to be raised up in these scriptures and untainted by the world. So we got to remember, we must love our brothers. That's the main thing Yashaya emphasized, is to love your brother. He gave us 2 greatest commandments. How can you not have love for somebody you see on a daily basis, but you say you love the Most High? It doesn't work that way. So with that, we are now going to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 1. And we're going to see what Paul was speaking to the church of Corinth, because they had problems with each other. And this is something we got to focus on. If we have problems with our brethren, and we are the judges of the earth, you know, we're going to be judging the angels, but you can't judge these little small matters. You know, you're not seeing the big picture. Let's stop being carnal amongst each other. So what if a brother has said something and it has done you wrong? You forgive them 7 times 70. And if they've repented, embrace them. That's your brother. You gained your brother. If they are unrepentant, still love them. It doesn't matter. When Yashaya comes back, he's going to judge them for it. Go ahead, let's get that out. 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 1.
1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 1. Dare any of you have a matter against another, go to law before the unjust and not before the saints?
Crystal clear. You go into these Roman courts, or you go into these Pharisees, and knowing that they have the unrighteous Talmud that they go by, or they look in the law to justify their wickedness. Dare any of you have a matter, you're going before them instead of going before the saints, whom the Most High has put the Spirit upon to show mercy. Go ahead, out.
Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world? And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters?
Exactly. You can't even make peace with these little small matters. And we are supposed to be the judges of the earth. And if you can't deal with that small matter, do you really think you're fit for the rightful position we're supposed to take? I mean, something's off here. It doesn't matter what has gone on. You don't show hatred for your brother. There's certain steps you take. Go ahead, up.
Know ye not that we shall judge angels? How much more things that pertain to this life? If then ye have judgments of things pertaining to this life, set them to judge who are least esteemed in the church. I speak to your shame. Is it so that there is not a wise man among you? No, not one that shall be able to judge between his brethren.
So we got things that go on within the Hebrew Israelite community, and people see and they know it's wrong. They know brothers are being mistreated. They know that there's false accusations brought against them. They know that there are people lying on them, and nobody stands up. No one has the wisdom to stand up and say, you know what, this brother, he didn't do this. That sister, that brother made a false report. Nobody stands up. They just let it be, and they're just silent and quiet. Things should not fly in that manner. Go ahead on.
But brother goeth to law with brother. But brother goeth to law with brother, and that before the unbelievers.
And this is the cold thing about it. A lot of times these things start by someone who is just fresh in the truth, haven't even fully given themselves over and submitted unto the Most High. They're still living worldly, still doing worldly things, and they'll make a complaint about a brother or a sister and have him tied up in something, and then that brother gets removed from the company of men, and that wicked person is not even in the truth anymore. They're not even checking to see if this person has a good rapport with the people in the gathering or the community. They just taking this word out of order, and things happen that are unfortunate. But you know what? It's all right, because when these things happen, it's to show you who's approved, and it's also exposing what spirit people are operating in behind the scenes. Go ahead, on.
7. Now therefore there is utterly a fault among you, because ye go to law one with another. Why do ye not rather take wrong? Why do ye not rather suffer yourselves to be defrauded?
So, you know, in a matter, say for instance, in a court of law, why take your brother to the court of law? You know what? Just count it off. You know what? I forgive you. I'm gonna clear this debt I have with you. So I'll go ahead and be defrauded, because my riches are stored up in the kingdom. Go ahead, on.
Nay, ye do wrong and defraud, and that your brethren.
Yeah, for the brother that was asking the chapter and verse, we are in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, and we are about to get verse 9. And Shabbat Shalom, man.
9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of AHAYAH? Mm-hmm. Be not deceived.
So don't be deceived. This list that Paul's about to run down, do not be deceived. These people are not going to make it into the kingdom. They will not inherit it. Go ahead, on.
Neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind. 10.
Yeah.
Nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revelers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of AHAYAH.
So it's crystal clear. Those committing physical and spiritual fornication, not going to make it. You're idolizing people. Some people, they even idolize themselves. You're not going to make it. You're effeminate. You're an abuser of yourself with mankind. You're a thief. You're coveting. You're a drunkard. You're a reveler. You're always speaking about other brothers and trying to tear them down and causing strife and being wrath and being a brawler. It's not going to happen. And you extorting brothers, you telling them, hey, don't speak out about this, or don't speak to this brother, or I'm going to kick you out the body. Number one, you can't kick nobody out the body of Yashaya. But y'all get what I'm saying. These people that are acting in this manner, they will not make it into the kingdom. So when you're suffering and you're being defrauded by your brother, and if he's acting in this form, you don't have to worry about him being judged here by any type of court. Most High is going to take care of it if he's unrepentant. So with that, we're going to go to Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 15. And going to hit these scriptures on judgment. Whenever you're ready, huh?
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 15. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty. But in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor.
And your neighbor you're supposed to love as yourself. So it's clear. It doesn't matter if someone's poor. It doesn't matter if someone's mighty. You do righteous judgment. The Most High is not a respecter of persons. And with that, we're now going to go to St. Matthew chapter 18 and verse 15. And I know we know all these scriptures, but it seems, brothers don't know how to apply these scriptures. And it's a very, very sad thing. And you know what? Most High put it on my spirit to bring forth these precepts due to how some of my brothers have been treated lately. And we're just going to go through it. And brothers and sisters out there, you take it upon yourself to internalize these things and always operate in the manner of Christ. And no matter what, you will be able to see everything going on. So with that, we're going to St. Matthew chapter 18 and verse 5.
Matthew chapter 18, 5?
15. Salakia, 15.
Matthew chapter 18, verse 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee.
All right, so your brother, he sins against you. Trespass against you. Go ahead, up.
Go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone.
So that trespass, he sinned against you, stole something from you, beared false witness against you, whatever it may be. You take that trespass to him. It ain't talking about emotions. It ain't talking about, well, this brother made me feel this way. Did he break the law? Did he sin against you? No. Don't be effeminate. You go tell him his fault between you and him. Go ahead, up.
If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother.
And that's how you gain your brother. You just take it up to him. You deal with him. No one else should have to know. And that's your brother. You gain your brother. You're able to build a stronger relationship. And even then, if it is something that, I didn't like how this brother spoke to me. It's not in actuality a trespass, but still go up and say, hey, brother, it seemed like this is what you meant. Oh, no, you know what? Slakia. I apologize. You gain your brother. If you don't speak to your brother and you just let that sit and get under your skin, then you start to think evil thoughts against your brother. Then you start wanting to tell people, nah, just tell your brother. So what? Even if it's petty, just kill it as soon as possible. Go ahead, let's get on 16.
But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established.
So step number 1, go to your brother in private. He doesn't want to hear you. Step number 2, you have 2 or more witnesses, and now they're witnessing. Now you're starting to have some proof that this brother doesn't want to operate according to Christ. Go ahead, Ak.
17. And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church.
That's the next step. After you've gone through step 1 through step 2, now you go and you publish it amongst Israel. The church is the people. And it ain't no separate camp. It ain't no separate, nah. We are all one camp in Christ. And if you choose to divide yourself based upon this camp, that camp, this color, wearing this color of fringes, wearing these types of garments, and nah, it doesn't matter. Go ahead, Ak.
But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as a heathen man and a publican.
He doesn't want to hear the rest of the congregation. Treat him like a heathen. Still love him, but treat him like a heathen. Let him be shamed so that in hopes through that shame, he can realize, man, nobody wants to deal with me because I wronged my brother. He came to me. I didn't want to hear it. He brought witnesses. I didn't want to hear them. I didn't want to hear the church as a whole. They cut me off. Still got to treat him like your brother, though. All right, so now we're going to go to verse 5 in the same chapter, St. Matthew chapter 18 and verse 5. And you got to be reminded that we are all little ones in Yashaya. So remember that we are little ones, and we can't be offending the little ones. Yashaya, he takes that very, very seriously. We're about to read about that. So once again, we're in St. Matthew chapter 18 and verse 5.
Matthew 18 and 5. And whoso shall receive one such little child in my name receiveth me.
So remember, when we're dealing with our brethren and our sisters, we are all babes in this word. And if you had some years in this truth, and someone fresh in this truth comes to you, and you receive them, you receive in Yashaya. So remember that. If we're received in Yeshaya's name, it's the same thing. I receive my brother, it's like I'm receiving Christ. I receive my sister, same thing. But if I deny them, I'm denying Christ. And we can't do that. Go ahead, up.
Well, whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me.
So you offend one of these little ones that believe in Yashaya, may not have all the knowledge like you may have, but you offend that little one. Go ahead, up.
It were better for him that a milestone were hung about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea.
You might as well go hang a millstone around your neck and go jump off a cliff, because you don't want to deal with what Yashaya is coming with. And this is the thing, man. We are all little ones. You might think you spent 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 years. Our nation as a whole is just in an awakening state. We're just waking up. And every single day, I'll praise to the Most High that we wake up a little bit more. Ourselves, just because we come in and bring precepts and speak on it, we still waking up. We don't know everything. I don't know everything. And I'll never say that. I'm always going to continuously be learning. I'm always going to be a student of Christ, because I could never, ever reach the bar that he set. So I seek and I strive. And the number one thing that makes it the easiest to get to it is just simply having love for your brother and doing what Christ did. You walk like Christ, you start to understand Christ more and more. You got some brothers out there that like to go to Paul, when all praise to the Most High for our brothers that have understanding. But Paul said, follow me as I follow Christ. So there's certain steps you must do and you must take that Christ laid out before you can go to Paul and just say, I'm going to cut this brother off. We can't do that. Man, go ahead, let's get 7.
Woe unto the world because of offenses. For it must needs be that offenses come.
So these things, they must happen. But woe unto that. Go ahead, out.
But woe to that man by whom the offense is coming.
So destruction to that man. So self-analyze every single day and realize, am I offending these little ones? Am I offending my fellow brothers in Christ, my fellow sisters in Christ? Because it's destruction unto you. So with that, we're now going to go to the book of Deuteronomy. We're going to get chapter 19 and verse 15. And I know this is something that sometimes people they don't want to do, but Yashaya, he gave us the guidelines. You take your offense to your brother, he trespassed against you, he don't want to hear you. Now you take witnesses. Why? Because it always goes back to the law. So now we're going to Deuteronomy chapter 19 verse 15, and we're going to get this portion of the law that tells us why we must go to our brother first. So go ahead, whenever you're ready.
Deuteronomy 19 and 15. One witness shall not rise up against a man for an iniquity or for any sin, and any sin that he sinneth.
So you can't just rise up and go amongst the brothers and say, I saw this brother do this. One man can't do it. Everything has to be established out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. And when brothers are operating in that mode, they usually have a pattern of behavior. So eventually there will be more witnesses, or you bring your witnesses with you to go and address this offense with your brother in private. Go ahead,
At the mouth of 2 witnesses, or at the mouth of 3 witnesses, shall the matter be established.
All right, so now we're going to get some understanding on what used to happen amongst our nation if you wanted to be a false witness, if you wanted to listen to lies, if you didn't want to do a thorough investigation, or you just simply just trying to lay a trap out for a brother so he can get a certain punishment. Something needs to happen amongst our people. And brothers out there that are doing this, you need to realize that these judgments that are spoken of, these judgments are going to come to pass. Nothing's changed. We just have the grace right now. You really need to analyze yourself. Make sure you're not doing this. Go ahead and get 16 out.
If a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him that which is wrong, then both the men between whom the controversy is shall stand before the Most High, before the priests and the judges, which shall be in those days.
Mm-hmm.
And the judges shall make diligent inquisition.
So diligent inquisition must be made. You must do a thorough investigation. You must make sure that these claims that are being brought forth are not false. Go ahead up.
And behold, if the witness be a false witness, and hath testified falsely against his brother,
Here come the judgment.
then shall ye do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother. So shalt thou put the evil away from among you.
So it's just that simple. You wanted to go and have a brother charged with a murder charge, and he didn't commit that murder, and you falsely accuse him, and what you would have done unto him is now going to happen to you.
Oh, time to get a new elder.
Man. And this is the thing, man. Everything is the law. Our people make the boast in the law, but yet, why you go off hearsay and offend these little ones? Because if you're establishing this truth for some period of time, and we're just coming in, we are those little ones. When Yashaya was speaking to the Pharisees and the scribes, those were older aged men offending the little ones just coming in. Now we have the same thing going on. We have older aged experienced men offending these little ones because they don't want to lose their position. They're too prideful and too big-headed to just say, you know what, I was wrong, brother, forgive me. It's that simple. We know what the scriptures say. If we follow Christ, you know your brother's going to forgive you. Why not just do that? And deny yourself. Deny your ego. Deny your flesh. Be that spirit man. Let's get we're going to go ahead. Now we're going to go to Psalms 101 and 5. Had a lot of precepts, but we're going to go ahead and skim through some of them for time's sake. We're already 30 minutes in. We're going to go to Psalms 101 and verse 5. And this is something that goes on amongst Israel, behind the scenes. You know, that come out, brothers will come out, they'll teach a lesson, they'll have a radio show or whatnot, come on and have that appearance of abstaining from evil, but privately behind the scenes, don't talk to this brother, we cut this brother off, don't deal with that sister. For no reason. For no reason. And brothers and sisters out there that know the type of situations that I'm speaking of, you might have witnessed. Hey, let's put on Christ. Let's remove the folly from within Israel. We must start with ourselves. We must be that change that we need. We must be that example for others. So with that, we're getting Psalms 101 and verse 5.
Psalms chapter 101, verse 5. Remember his marvelous...
101 and 5?
Oh, 105.
101.
Yeah. Psalms 101 and 5. Whoso privily slandereth his neighbor.
So you're going behind the scenes, talking to other brothers, slandering another man, slandering a sister privately. You didn't go through steps 1, 2, 3. Go ahead on.
Him will I cut off.
You will be cut off. And usually the reasons why these things happen, go ahead on.
Him that hath an high look and a proud heart will not I suffer.
So a lot of times they have a proud look, they have a proud heart, and they don't want people to think, oh, he made a mistake. No, he has to have that appearance of being perfect. When ain't nobody perfect but Yashaya. But he's got to have that appearance of being perfect. I could have never said anything wrong to nobody. I could have never done anyone wrong. And if anybody says anything, they attacking the work. Which is funny to me because the Most High's work can never be attacked. He said, I could raise up these stones to be seed of Abraham. So it doesn't matter. We are men. We are imperfect. And if we go off and we do something and brothers correct us, or whatever it may be, or if we're removed, Most High strikes us dead, whatever it may be, it's not an attack on the work. The work is always going to stand. It doesn't matter. These scriptures that we're coming with, that's the only thing that will stand. Everything else don't matter. Go ahead, let's get verse 6.
Mine eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me. He that walketh in a perfect way, he shall serve me. He that worketh deceit shall not dwell within my house. He that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight.
It's crystal clear. You walk in the perfect way. We know we're not perfect, but you striving every single day to walk like Christ. Hey, those are the ones serving the Most High. You work in deceit, you're not going to dwell in his house. He's not going to allow you to tarry in his sight. Eventually, he's going to pull the rug from up under your feet, and everything will be exposed about you. So with that, we're going to go to Proverbs 29 and 12. And keep this in mind, brothers and sisters out there, if you might have witnessed things and, you don't know what to do or where to go to, you run to these scriptures and your refuge is in the words of Yashaya, number 1. But keep in mind, if you know people are listening to lies and they're acting upon lies, you may fall under this umbrella and you don't want any parts of this. So with that, we're going to Proverbs 29 and verse 12.
Proverbs 29 and 12. If a ruler hearken to lies,
So a ruler, a so-called elder, a so-called bishop, a so-called deacon, and you're under them, and you know for a fact that they're listening to lies, go ahead out.
All his servants are wicked.
Crystal clear. If a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked. So you really need to, like it says in the book of Psalms, who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? You must have that backbone. Don't be spineless. You see something, according to the scriptures, you can find where the error is at. You must say something, or you're going to bear that iniquity, which is why it says all his servants are wicked. So with that, we're going to now go to the Apocrypha. We're going to get the book of RaWach or Ecclesiasticus. We're going to get chapter 11, and we're going to get verse 7. And we must walk according to these guidelines. And once again, the title of the lesson is Brotherly Love and also Righteous Judgment. And one of the most righteous ways you can love your brother is by judging him righteously. And your brothers are those that do the will of the Most High, not someone who you have a closer relationship than with another. If a stranger is serving the Most High, that's your brother. You must do judgment with no partiality, no respect of persons. So we hit up 11 and 7.
RaWach, chapter 11, verse 7. Blame not before thou hast examined the truth.
So you must examine the truth of a matter. Anything that's a lie, throw it out. Anything that can't be found to be fact, throw it out. Go ahead out.
Understand first, and then rebuke.
So you look at the matter with your brother and okay, is it worthy of rebuke? Was there actual transgression? No, there wasn't. But if there is, then you rebuke, then you correct with meekness and humility and love with the intention of gaining your brother. Go ahead out, let's get 8.
Answer not before thou hast heard the cause.
So don't even say a thing until you have heard all the witnesses and examined everything. Go ahead on.
Neither interrupt men in the midst of their talk.
So don't interrupt your brother. Don't interrupt a witness. Let them speak. That's it. Don't deal with emotion. if you know that you are being wrongly accused and someone's bringing a false witness, don't cut that false witness off. You just let them speak. Go ahead.
Strive not in a matter that concern. No,
We'll do right there.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. All right, we're gonna now go to the book of John. Actually, let me see here. We are gonna go to.
And a lot of times, when a brother's being rebuked, or somebody's bringing false accusations, a lot of times they're dealing with emotions. A lot of us men, so-called, physically at least, are letting the emotions get in the way. Because me, I can sit up and talk with my brother the way I feel about something. I can just say what I say. Either you accept it or you don't. If my brother don't like what I'm saying, I expect you to be man enough to tell me, hey, hold up, bro. You coming at me this way? I don't like the way you're saying things. And maybe I can say, whoa, pump my brakes. Look, all right, maybe I was wrong. Or if I'm correcting you, rebuking you as a man, I don't know how to do it no other way. Sometimes the one that's being rebuked let their emotions get in the way. And they go run off and get stuff stirred up. They go, oh, he said this about me, or this person's no good, or this elder, or this person, which is both wrong on both ends. So what we first need to do is learn how to be men. And if you learn how to be a man, then you can know how to talk with your brothers. And don't think you hired as somebody that you can't talk to your brother. You need to first learn how to be men on both sides. And don't get stuff stirred up amongst the brethren.
Exactly. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. Just, hey, you know what? I was wrong. Forgive me. Just be humble about it. What's so wrong with that? I mean, brother came to me and said, you know what, brother, I'm wrong. Will you forgive me? Of course I'm going to forgive you. Now I know, like, man, this brother, he really is seeking to do the right thing. Now I know that when I'm going off, he's going to correct me. And I could thank him and I could ask him for forgiveness, and then we could build that relationship even stronger and continue to help pulling each other up instead of pulling each other down and doing the reverse. But just like the brother said, man, the thing is, you have a lot of people out there that don't know how to be men. And that's why it says the effeminate will not inherit the kingdom. That emotional brothers, that's effeminate to some degree. We deal with emotion. We get angry. We get sad. We get happy. But we don't act on that anger. Like it says, anger and sin not. So I could be mad. There's a such thing as righteous anger. But I can't act upon it. I can't just go and scream at you and cuss you out and yell at you. And no. I have to maintain myself. Calm down and say, hey, brother, when you said this, when you did this, you know, it made it seem like this, or brother, you stole this from me, or I want to make this right because you're my brother. But
and we've all done that before, and that don't make you an infant. That means you just lost control of where you was at the moment. But if this is how you live and this is what you do, and you let it control your life and cause confusion amongst people, that's where you've been. Hold up, you let emotions run you, because there's been times people been straight backwards, idiot towards me, and I'm just trying to catch myself, try to control myself, and I go ahead and end up where they're at. Same zone. Okay, now we can both be idiots. Then I catch myself 5 minutes later over there praying, asking for forgiveness. Father, forgive me. I just wigged out on this dude. So
yeah, and
you got to admit your wrongs also.
Even when we're dealing with people in the world, it's a grievous thing because we just allowed ourselves to just act out carnally. And I hate it when someone gets under my skin and I say something and then I'm like, man,
It happens.
like I got to be an example to this person, but yet I did this. How can I be an example now if I offended this person? And anytime I want to go into the scriptures now, they're going to remember, oh, this brother, he yelled at me or put his hands on me or called me this. Yeah, he asked for forgiveness, but he has the potential to become unglued. So, you know, we got to contain ourselves. You know, sometimes it's not easy, but we are called to do that. We got to be that example because not everybody knows these scriptures. if we are called to be an example to our brothers, whether it be by example in our walk or sharing the scriptures, we can't allow anything to make us have the appearance of evil. We must abstain from that. We can't even allow someone to even think. We got to abstain from the appearance, just from appearing that way, not actually being that, but from that appearance. With that, we are gonna we're gonna go over we're gonna go to St. John 7:51.
John chapter 7, verse 51. Doeth our law judge any man before it hear him, and know what he doeth?
Crystal clear. Does the law judge any man before it hear him? You have a right to speak. It's crystal clear. You can't just say a brother did this and then go put him on blast amongst everybody. You have to hear him. And then comes the judgment. So with that, we're going to go to Romans chapter 2 and 26. And there's a reason why Paul wrote this, what he wrote in the book of Romans. Because you have brothers that grew up with the law their entire life, which is kind of similar to brothers who've been in the truth 20 plus years. And they look at us who are not of the circumcision per se. We didn't grow up in that manner. We were like the Gentile minded that are written of in the scriptures, that were living amongst the Gentiles, didn't know who they were, that came back to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. And so they'll look at us and say, well, this brother, he's only known the truth for 2, 3, 4 years. I've been in the truth for 20 years. But we're going to see what this scripture says. Go ahead, Romans 2 and 26.
Romans chapter 2, verse 26. Therefore, if the uncircumcision keep the righteousness of the law.
So if we were once living like the uncircumcised heathen out there, doing everything wicked under the sun, we come into this truth. And now we're dealing with the brother that's been in there 20 years strong. He really don't remember too much of his wickedness because he's been keeping these law, statutes, and commandments, and then he go off. Go ahead,
Shall not his uncircumcision be counted for circumcision?
Go ahead.
And shall not the uncircumcision which is by nature, if it fulfill the law, judge thee?
So is it unrighteous that us that were living like Gentiles, and you've been in the truth for 20 plus years, and we are fulfilling the law, can we judge thee? Go ahead.
Who by the letter and circumcision doest transgress the law?
And you have all this knowledge. You are accounted of the circumcision. And you are transgressing the law. It's crystal clear. You can't sit there and say this brother, 2 years ago he was, meditating the Buddha or whatever you want to call it. But now he's fulfilling the righteousness of the law, and you think because for 20 years you've had knowledge of the law, but yeah, you still transgressing it. You don't think that babe in the word can now righteously judge you as long as he's fulfilling that law? Especially when we're commanded not to suffer sin upon our neighbor. It's just little simple things. It doesn't matter. What matters is your current state, not what you did. So with that,
long story short. So this non-Jew, this Hamite or this Edomite who's keeping the law, statute, and commandments, doing what's right, and you Jew who know what this says and ain't doing it, should he be judging you or you judging him? He's doing what the Most High said and you ain't.
All right, so now we're going to go to the book of Acts. We're going to get chapter 18, and we're going to get verse 12. We're going to see something that happened to Paul when they were making false accusations against Paul. Acts 18 and verse 12.
Acts chapter 18, verse 12. And then Galileo was a deputy of AHAYAH. AHAYAH. The Jews made insurrection. The Jews made insurrections with one accord against Paul and brought him to the judgment seat.
Continue.
Saying this fellow persuadeth men to worship God contrary to the law.
So, of course, we know that Paul wasn't teaching anything against the law, but they brought up this accusation, and they came together against Paul, put him in the judgment seat, and now they're saying he's persuading men to worship the Most High contrary to the law because he's doing it in the Spirit of Christ. Go ahead.
And when Paul was now about to open his mouth, Galileo said unto the Jews, if it were a matter of wrong or wicked lewdness, O ye Jews, reason with that I should bear with you.
So he's saying if this is actually something that is contrary to the law, statutes, and commandments, I would bear with you. But, go ahead up, 15.
15. But if it be a question of words and names and of your law, look ye to it.
So if it's according to your law, your Talmud, your so-called oral tradition of your elders, go ahead, look ye to it. But you know what? Go ahead,
For I will be no judge of such matters.
So I ain't dealing with how you feel about all these other little things. If it's not according to the law of the Most High, I'm not going to hear it. I'm not going to deal with it. Go ahead, verse 16.
And he drove them from the judgment seat.
There you go. That's it. So now we're gonna get let's see here. Now we're gonna go ahead and skip that. We're gonna go to St. John chapter 8 and verse 4. And we're going to go through this story. We all know this story, but we need to go over it again so brothers can get it in their mind and realize if you're not worthy of casting a stone, keep your mouth shut. So we're in St. John chapter 8 and verse 4.
John chapter 8 verse 4. They say unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act.
Mm-hmm.
Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned. But what saith thou?
So they were looking to the law. They caught this woman. Say, well, you know what? In the law of Moses, he commanded us in the law that we should stone this woman. What do you say we should do? Go ahead,
This they said, tempting him, that they might have to accuse him. But Yashaya stooped down, and with his finger wrote in the ground, as though he heard them not. I'm gonna ignore this.
So when someone's coming to bring you some nonsense, hey, this is what Yashaya did. He's like, what? You say something? Go ahead.
So when they continue asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, he that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her.
See, he already knew who was coming to him. He knew they were operating in wickedness. He knew he was the only person that had the lawful right to pick up a rock and stone that woman. So he told them, you know what? If you're perfect, go ahead. And they walked away. That's the same thing we must be thinking about when we're dealing with our brothers when they transgress against us. We've all done things. We're not perfect. Of course, we've all been baptized for the remission of sins, had our slate wiped clean, but we're still working on things, and we can't execute judgment on that level. We can judge these small matters, but ain't none of us worthy to put anybody to death. And another thing is, you can't try to spiritually kill your brother by cutting him off from his brothers and sisters. Don't work that way. There's a lot of things about people that we don't know what they're doing behind the scenes, and they go through to great lengths to cover things up and make sure that you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. But then they'll come on and they'll ostracize a brother and treat him wrong, make false accusations against him, slander him privately, call him names. It happens. Man. But you know what? Those that know, they know. I can't. As much as I want to say what I know, I can't. But Most High, He'll open your eyes up and you'll see. And that's the thing. So with that, we just saw that Yashaya basically told these men, you know what? You got to show mercy. So we're now going to go to St. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 7. And remember, this is what we always must do. We always have to show mercy, no matter what. It doesn't matter. You got some brothers that show mercy who were unmerciful in the world, but in this truth they show great amounts of mercy. And then you got brothers who were merciful in the world because they're weak carnally, but then they become someone esteemed so-called spiritually, and they are unmerciful. So you got to keep these things in mind, because this is one key thing to show that you're blessed. And we're in St. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 17. Or verse 7, Slaki.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 7. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy.
You want mercy? Show mercy. It's that simple. Go ahead on.
Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see AHAYAH.
You want to see AHAYAH? Be pure in heart. Be merciful. Be forgiving. Do everything that Christ did. Go ahead on.
Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of AHAYAH.
You want to be a child of the Most High? Humble yourself like that little child. Be a peacemaker. Even when the other people involved don't want to be at peace, be a peacemaker. Stay in peace. If you have to correct somebody and go through the steps and publish something publicly amongst Israel, do it out of peace and out of meekness and out of love. Regardless if people are going to accept it, you know that you went through these scriptures and you went through the process of how you're supposed to do things. And if the people don't want to listen, so be it. They can't say they didn't know. They can't say they didn't hear. Go ahead, out.
Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake.
So you persecuted for doing the right thing, you are blessed. That is a key indicator. Most High is blessing you.
For theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Exactly. You got to remember these things that Yashaya wrote about. Many will come in my name. Many will come in the name of Christ. He wasn't talking about these Christians and these Gentiles out here. He was talking about these men coming up saying, I'm anointed. I gave you knowledge of the scriptures. I showed you who you were in the scriptures.
Good, you did your job.
Most High will hang you up just like and get a new tool out the shed. You got to remember, that word Christ means anointed. These men are saying, I'm anointed. You got some camps out there saying that they have to give people authority to go out and teach. They're the home of the truth. Many will come. Yashaya was speaking to us in this time right now as the awakening is happening. These men, they get into this position, things go to their head, the ego grows, and we have what we have today. But go ahead, let's get verse 11.
Blessed are ye when men shall revile revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake.
So this is going on right now. You got brothers speaking all manner of evil of somebody falsely because they chose to put on Christ and they didn't back down. They say, you know what? This is what the scriptures say. This is what I stand by. This is what I live for. And now they're persecuting me. It's all right because you know what? Verse 12 is going to tell us.
Rejoice and be exceedingly glad.
So take it upon you cheerfully. Go ahead out.
For great is your reward in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you.
So Israel, our nation, our forefathers, persecuted the prophets that walked amongst the nation. Same thing today. The prophets will come up. Most High will put it on the spirit of somebody say, you know what, brother, what you did was wrong. And they can either listen to the prophet or they'll do wicked and slay the prophet. And we can read about it all throughout the scriptures. They did that to our master, Yashaya. They're going to do it to you too. So with that, we're going to go to Psalms 34 and 13. And remember this when we're dealing with brothers. We only speak facts. We only speak righteousness. Can't prove something, don't speak on it. Psalms 34 and 13.
Psalms chapter 34, verse 13. Keep thy tongue from evil and thy lips from speaking gall.
That's simple. Keep your tongue from evil. Let's get Psalm 64 and 3. We got a lot of precepts, but we're gonna be skipping through some for time's sake.
64 and 3.
Yeah.
Psalm 64 and 3. Who up thy tongue like a
So
sword,
they sharpen the tongue like a sword. That's what wet means in Old English, to sharpen. Go ahead on.
and bent their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words,
Mm-hmm. Verse 4.
that they may shoot in secret at the perfect.
So they privately slandering brothers. Go ahead.
Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not.
So they don't fear the wrath of the Most High. They don't understand that they're offending this little one. Go ahead on.
They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of lying snares privily. They say, who shall see them?
Like, oh, the brothers and sisters in the congregation, they don't know about this private conversation I had with this brother. Excommunicated him. Go ahead on.
They search out iniquities. Where'd I go?
64.
They accomplish a diligent search. Yeah, they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both inward through. Thought through every deep. That don't make no sense. Did I just jump something?
Yeah, both the inward thought of every one of them. And
I jumped the whole paragraph. No, I'm like, hold up, that didn't make no sense.
Yeah, verse 7.
Verse 7. But AHAYAH shall shoot at them with the arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away.
So, just like it spoke about verses up, about they wet their tongue like a sword, and they're going to fall on their own tongue. It's like somebody falling upon their own sword and killing themselves. It's exactly what's going to happen when you privately slandering brothers behind the scenes, shooting fiery darts at them. Most High, he sees it all. Don't think that you can hide from the Most High just because no one else knows. No one wants to stand up. The Most High is going to judge you if you don't repent. And, next, we are, I want to go through these parables. We're going to go through these parables. And, let's get Matthew chapter 18 and verse 21. And we've gone through this parable several times through several lessons, but this is one of my favorite parables, and it always reminds me, as I hope it reminds my brothers and sisters out there, that we got two different types of servants.
Matthew chapter 18, verse 21. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times. Yashaya said unto him, I say unto thee, until 7 times, but until 70 times 7.
So you must forgive your brother. If your brother causing an offense, trespasses against you, you go up to him, he asks for forgiveness, repents of it, you forgive him. He does it again, you go to him again, he repents of it, you forgive him. Doesn't matter how you feel about it. Most High, he's a jealous power. He's seen us go off and worship all these other idols, whoring after the gods of the other nations. He gets angry, just like we get angry. And he still shows us mercy. So we must show that same mercy. Because a lot of us shouldn't even be alive at this very moment, just based on righteous judgment. Go ahead,
Verse
23.
23. Therefore is the kingdom of heaven likened unto a certain king, which would take account of his servants. And when he had begun to reckon, one was brought unto him, which owed him 10,000 talents. But for as much as he had not to pay, his Lord commanded him to be sold, and his wife and children, and all that he had, and the payment to be made.
So when we come into this knowledge of the truth, we realize the debt that we have with the Most High. And we do this next thing that we're about to read about this servant. Go ahead, verse 26.
26. The servant therefore fell down and worshipped him, saying, Lord, have patience with me, and I will pay thee all.
So we get this knowledge of the truth. We realize all the iniquities that we have done throughout our entire lives, and we hit those knees and we worship the Most High. We ask him to forgive us. Please have patience with us. We will pay thee all. Even though we can't repay him, we dedicate ourselves to this. We learn this and we live by it. We accept Yashaya as our sacrifice. We get into that water. We beg the Most High for that mercy. And this is what he does. Go ahead, let's get 27.
Then the Lord of the servant was moved with compassion and loosed him and forgave him the debt.
We are forgiven. We have that slate wiped clean. All praise to the Most High for that.
Forgive us our debt as we forgive our debtors.
And now we're going to see how some of our brothers act. They get their slate wiped clean. They are forgiven of their debt. But they can't do the same with their own brothers. Let's get verse 28.
But the same servant went out and found one of his fellow servants, which owed him 100 pence.
So 1,000 talents or 10,000 talents. Now this other servant, he just a little bit, showing you the debt that we have to the Most High is so great in comparison to these little minor things that brethren do amongst each other. Go ahead,
And he laid hands on him and took him by the throat, saying, Pay me that thou owest. And his fellow servant fell down at his feet and besought him, saying, Have patience with me, I will pay thee all.
So remember, when we're dealing with our brothers and they do something to offend us and trespass against us, we can't just grab him by the throat, can't just put hands on him, choke him out. We can't do that.
Better not.
Physically or verbally. No, we can't. We cannot do that. And I pray that brothers aren't doing that, because
Most High will have your head.
at the end of this parable, we're gonna see. So this same servant, he fell down and said, "Have patience with me. I will pay you." Go ahead, verse 30.
And he would not, but went and cast him into prison till he should pay the debt.
Man, The servant was just forgiven 10,000 talents, not for 100 pence. So you know what? No mercy. Cast you into prison. Go ahead, out.
So when his fellow servants saw what was done, they were very sorry, and came and told unto their Lord all that was done.
So these fellow servants, and we are all fellow servants, we are all brethren. We see these things happen amongst our brothers. We make supplication unto the Most High. We ask the Most High, correct this. Correct this brother that's acting this way towards our other brothers and sisters. He's gotten high-minded. He's gotten too proud. His ego was too big. We inquire unto the Most High, Father. Please convict him in his heart to start doing the right thing. Most High, he hears the prayers of his servants. Go ahead, on.
Then his Lord, after that he had called him, said unto him, O thou wicked servant, I forgave thee all that debt, because thou desirest me.
So we just desired for the Most High to forgive us, and he forgave us. Same thing as this servant. He desired, hey, forgive me, have patience with me. I'll pay you. I don't got it right now, but I will have it, and when I do, you will have it. No compassion. Go ahead, on. 33.
Shouldst not thou also have had compassion on thy fellow servant, even as I had pity on thee?
Crystal clear.
And his Lord was wrath, and delivered him to the tormentors, till he should pay all that was due unto him.
So he cast him into the prison. This dude said, you know what? You're not just going to prison. You're going to the tormentors too.
Man.
All the medieval type things that they had, where do you think they got it from? Those racks and those spikes and the things that stretch people. Man. Except this time, those tormentors, lake of fire. Hot. Go touch a stove. Do something. Remind yourself. Go ahead, out. Let's get 35.
So likewise shall my heavenly Father do also unto you, if ye for your hearts forgive not every one his brother their trespasses.
And this says from your heart. Not just publicly say, yeah, I forgive that brother and still deal with him on the surface, but internally you have a hatred for him. Now you must forgive him from your heart. If you can't, hey. And it says every one his brother their trespasses. You must forgive every one of them and every one of your brothers. You don't get them tormentors. So with that, we're going to go to Matthew 13 and 24. And always, this is why we make the disclaimer: we don't separate the goats from the sheep or the tares from the wheat, because of this parable right here that Yashaya spoke. So we can't just remove people. They will remove themselves. But we can't just remove people. We must always look to extend mercy. And our mercy should never run out, because the Most High's mercy with us has never ran out. So go ahead, out whenever you're ready.
Matthew chapter 13, verse 24. Another parable put he forth into them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat, and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also.
So keep in mind, as brothers and sisters are coming into this truth and getting this knowledge, as the Most High is increasing and waking people up, that wicked one is increasing the amount of tares amongst us. Go ahead, out.
27. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, dost not thou sow good seed in the field, in thy field? For hence then hath it tares.
And sometimes, we look at, you might be a part of a body, a church, a congregation, and you're like, I thought everybody here was a good seed. I thought everybody here was going to adhere to the law, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High. I thought everybody was going to walk like Christ. Why do I see these things going on? Go ahead, out.
He said unto them, An enemy hath done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up?
So should we go and remove these tares?
But he said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them.
And you have that wheat amongst the people. You have these tares that have told so many lies. The people believe the lies, and you might have somebody who actually keeps the law, statutes, and commandments in meekness and humility, doesn't know what's going on behind the scenes. And if you uproot that tare, that wheat might come out with it because they're lacking understanding. So you have to do something. Go ahead, Out.
Let both grow together into the harvest. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, Gather ye together first the tares, and bind them up in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn.
Yashaya, he's going to take care of it. Just let them be. Correct them, rebuke them when possible, but don't just uproot them. Because who knows, maybe through time, they might wake up and snap up out of that and realize all the wicked that they've done and change. Remember, we are trying to gain our brothers. We're trying to add to the kingdom. So with that, brother, jump down to verse 36.
Verse 36. Then Yashaya went to the multitude away and went into the house, and his disciples came unto him, saying, Declare unto us the parable of the tares in the field. He answered and said unto them, He that soweth good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed is the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. The enemy that soweth them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom, all things that offend, and them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be a wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who hath
ears, let him hear.
Who have ears, let him hear.
So there we go. We're good right there. So just let those tares grow, and make sure you're not one of them. Judge yourself first. We're going to go to Matthew 23 and 23. Went over this a couple weeks ago, but you got to remember that we're not operating in a pharisaical manner, and that we are showing love to every one of our brothers. I got brothers that I've spoke to wrong. They spoke to me wrong, and we forgave each other and corrected that. So we're going to make sure that we still love our brothers, no matter what. Go ahead, Out.
Matthew chapter 23, verse 23. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pay tithe and mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law.
So brothers can act, say, I've been keeping all these commandments, but we're going to see what is the weightier matters of the law.
Judgment, mercy, and faith.
So mercy, righteous judgment, mercy, and faith. Go ahead, Out.
These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone.
Crystal clear. Let's jump down to 26.
26. Thou blind Pharisees, cleanse first that which is within the cup and the platter, that the outside of them may be clean also.
So go ahead and clean your insides up first, making sure that you're forgiving your brothers from your heart, and not just have that appearance, but internally be cleansed and operate in the Spirit of Christ. That's what we must be doing. It doesn't matter. You can keep all the commandments, But if you hate your brother, you can't be merciful to your brother, you're going to be judged by that same judgment. So with that, we are going to go to St. Matthew chapter 26, and we're going to see how Yashaya exercised brotherly love, because you know what? Judas was amongst him. He knew Judas's purpose from the very beginning. He still showed Judas love. That's what we must do. And you know, Yashaya, he was able to do it. It's hard for us to do it, but we still have to try. And just remember, we're not above our master. Let's go ahead out. Let's get Matthew 26 and 14.
Matthew chapter 26, verse 14. Then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot, went unto the chief priests and said unto them, what will ye give me? I will deliver unto you. Let me start that over. And said unto them, what will ye give me? And I will deliver him unto you. And they
covenanted.
They covenanted with him for 30 pieces of silver.
So here comes Judas, knowing that Yashaya is sent by the Most High. He goes unto the chief priests of the scribes and the Pharisees and makes a bargain, makes a deal with them. 30 pieces of silver. You would think 100, 1,000, but just 30 pieces of silver. Go ahead, let's get 16.
And from that time, he saw opportunity to betray him.
Let's jump down to verse 20.
Verse 20. Now, when the evening was come, he sat down with the 12. And as they did eat, he said, verily I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me. And they were exceedingly sorrowful, and began every one of them to say unto him, Lord, is it I?
So Yashaya, he knew one was going to betray him. He told him. He could have just, before he even sat down, be like, man, Judas, get out of here. You know what, Peter? I know you got your sword. Stick it right through his stomach. But nah, he sat down with them and broke bread. He said, you know, one of y'all are going to betray me. They were all sorrowful. Like, man, I couldn't imagine doing this. Which one is it? Is it I? Keep in mind, Judas, he already went and made that covenant. Go ahead, on.
And he answered and said, he that dippeth his hand with me in the dish, the same shall betray me.
Showing you how close Judas was. He was right there eating with him, like he dipped his bread in the dish at the same time Yashaya did. Go ahead, on.
The Son of Man goeth as it is written of him. But woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It had been good for that man if he had not been born. Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I? He said unto him, Thou hast said.
That's what you said. Yashaya didn't put hands on him, grab him by the throat.
You said it, I didn't. You told her yourself.
Now imagine that. Containing yourself. Knowing that this dude just made a deal to have you put to death. It'd be very, very hard for me to not act on that. But Yashaya kept it together. Like, yeah, you said. Let's jump down to verse 45 out.
45. 45. Then cometh he to his disciples and said unto them, Sleep. Sleep on now, and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed unto the hand of sinners.
Mm-hmm.
Rise, let us be going. Behold, he is at hand that doeth betray me. And while he yet spake, lo, Judas, one of the 12, came, and with him a great multitude with swords and staves, from the chief priests and elders of the people. Now he that betrayed him gave them a sign, saying, Whomsoever I shall kiss, that same is he. Hold him fast. And forthwith he came to Yashaya and said, Hail, master, and kissed him.
And Yashaya, knowing what he did,
and then two-piece him.
Look at what Yashaya called him still.
And Yashaya said unto him, Friend, wherefore art thou come? Then came they and said, Hands, and laid hands on Yashaya and took him. And behold, one of them which were with the 12 stretched out his hand and drew his sword and struck the servant of the high priest and smote off his ear. Then said Yashaya unto him, Put up again the sword and took his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword.
So visualize that in your mind. Here they come. Peter grabs his sword, cuts the ear off, and he's like, put your sword away. Man. Go ahead on verse 53.
Thinkest thou that I cannot pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me more than 12 legions of angels?
Yashaya, he had that power. He could have easily took him out like nothing. Go ahead on.
But now then shall the scripture be fulfilled, that thus it must be.
So remember, Yashaya said they're going to speak falsely against us and say all manner of evil against us. They're going to deliver us up to be killed, and some will kill us. Remember that, just like Yashaya said, but how then shall the scriptures be fulfilled, that thus it must be? Same thing, when these things are happening to us, we must put on Christ and have that same attitude and know, this is what the scripture said. How else is it going to be? Go ahead on. Verse 55.
In the same hour said Yashaya to the multitudes, Are ye come out as against a thief with swords and staves for to take me? I sat daily with you teaching in the temple, and ye laid no hand on me.
And so, you have a situation where these things happen to you when you're looking at the brothers and sisters like, man, I sat down, went over precepts with you. You used to call me up, text me, say, what does this mean? What does that mean? Did breakdowns with you. You invited me into your home. I invited you into my home. And now you coming at me with swords and staves. A stave is like a billy club. You're coming after me now like a thief when you know me. I sat amongst you. We broke bread together. You know I've done nothing to you. Go ahead, verse 56.
But all this was done that the scriptures of the prophets might be fulfilled. Then all the disciples forsook him and fled.
Can you read that last part one more time?
Then all the disciples forsook him and fled.
All the disciples forsook him and fled. At this moment, they left. Of course, they continued did the work. We have the book of Acts, we have the letters and whatnot, but they forsook Yashaya and fled. They left. Remember that. Talk about being alone. That's alone. Your brothers that were with you every single day, you sent them out. They seen you heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, cast out demons, feed a multitude of people with just 5 fish and a couple loaves. Seeing you walk on water, they had all the confirmation that they needed. Saw all the prophecies come true with their own eyes, heard with their own ears. And this happens, and they still forsook Yashaya and fled. So remember, when certain things happen to you, and it seems like your brothers forsook you, and they leave, they did it to Yashaya. And even though they did that, they still continued on with the work. So Let's get verse 60.
Verse 60. But found none. Ye though many false witnesses came, yet found they none. At the last came two false witnesses, and said, this fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of AHAYAH, and build it up in 3 days. And the high priest arose and said unto him, Answerest thou nothing? What is it which these witnesses against thee? But Yashaya held his peace, and the high priest answered and said unto him, I adjure thee by the living God, that thou tell us whether thou be the Christ, the Son of God. Yashaya said unto him, Thou hast said, nevertheless, I say unto you, hereafter shall ye see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of the power and coming in the clouds of heaven.
So remember that when things are happening and when we're at that point where maybe we're delivered up to be dead and they coming against us and they questioning us, just remember, they take us out, Most High willing, we'll return with Yashaya in the clouds. With that, brothers and sisters, I just wanted to go over that so you can get the greatest example that we have of brotherly love. Yashaya knew that Judas was going to betray him, still broke bread with him, still showed him love to the very end. Could have did whatever he wanted to, but he held it together. So next time when you're dealing with a situation with your brother and it's something minor and you can't contain yourself, you might have to ask yourself how far away are you from putting on Christ. So with that, once again, the title was Brotherly Love and also Righteous Judgment, and those two things go hand in hand. And with that, all praise to the Most High. Hopefully this is brought edification to our brothers and sisters out there. And with that, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Kwam Yasharallah.
Kwam Yasharallah.
And bid you a higher speed. And Most High willing, we'll have something next week. And with that, just want to say Shalom to all the brothers out there, holding it down in different parts of California.
Lord, I'm sorry, there's something I'm throwing too.
Go ahead.
All this stuff going on the media, the brothers getting gunned down and on the regular. Don't get caught up in these protesters, Israel. It ain't never helped us. It didn't help us in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and it ain't helping us today. We already understand from this book what is going on and what's going to continue to happen. Don't get caught up in it.
And you just reminded me, I have some extra precepts here I wanted to go over.
It's time to flee this land. Don't get caught up with it, because they sure about to drop their martial law. Let's get the people riled up, disarm everybody. You already know what's going on. Pay attention to what's going on. Don't get caught up in it. And a lot of this stuff is false flags. Like, I don't believe no 12 cops gonna got shot and 5 killed. You can believe what you want. Remember, they only gonna put on here what they want you to see on this television. Remember that.
And with that, brothers, if there's brothers out there making comments and trying to get people in a militant mind state, but we're going to go over these scriptures real quick. And Tawada for mentioning that, because I had some extra precepts I set aside that weren't part of this lesson that I wanted to go over today. And so we're going to go to the book of Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 8, and it reads, Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Most High, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. So the Most High said, you need to wait upon him. You can't go and take actions into your own hands. Vengeance is his. Doesn't matter how we feel about it. Once again, we know what the scriptures say. It says in Proverbs that when a man's ways are well pleasing unto the Most High, he makes his enemy to be at peace with him. And we know the Most High, he sends out that death decree. So this is just judgment going on. for those brothers that have actually been getting shot by the police, which, you know, they come up with this false flag to say the police have been getting shot to get you to forget about those two brothers that were just recently killed. And with that, we're now going to go to Proverbs 20 and 22. Let's see here, 20, 22. And it reads, "Say not thou, I will recompense evil, but wait on the Most High AHAYAH, and he shall save thee." So don't think you can go and do what you want. You need to wait on the Most High. And with that,
But protect your homes and your family.
we are going to go to Job chapter 5, and we are going to get 17 through 19. And it reads, "Behold, happy is the man whom the Most High correcteth. Therefore despise not thou the chastening of the Almighty. For he maketh sore and bindeth up. He woundeth, and his hands make whole. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee." So remember, the Most High, if our ways are pleasing unto him, he's watching over us. Let me see here and get this last one. One moment here.
Nowhere in this book will tell you to go out there and protest in Babylon. We get out here and protest in Babylon. Come on, man. You can't win. You can't win. What you do is, it's about to get bad here. It's going to be some rioting and some warring. You just stay home and protect your family. Because if you in jail, you definitely can't protect them. So let them come to your doorstep. And if you got the opportunity, get up out of here. This ain't our home.
Yeah. Well, let me see here. I should have had these ready. Alright, so it's Proverbs 16 and 7. It says, "When a man's ways please the Most High, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him." So remember, you want your enemies to be at peace with you, you make sure your ways are well pleasing unto the Most High. So we can't get distracted by these things going on. Yeah, is it grievous? Of course it is. But we're just in the age of information where you can catch a video right after it happens. This thing has been going on since before this country was established. It's been going on since 1492 here in the Americas. It was going on during, the Roman occupation of Jerusalem. This thing has been going on forever. They've always been doing this to us. You can read about it in the scriptures. So you make sure that your ways are pleasing unto the Most High, and you make sure you love your brother, and you forgive your brother. So with that, I'm gonna bid everybody a higher speed. Shabbat Shalom and Kwam Yashawala.
Shabbat Shalom.